A warm welcome to you. Back to errors. Sometimes when I say back to errors, some students don't like it. Back to errors. So why are we back to errors? We have to correct errors. Back to correcting errors. Okay. Back to correcting errors. We have errors that affect the agreement of the trial balance today. Errors that affect the agreement of the trial balance. We are gonna do some errors, problematic and trouble making errors, but after we correct them, some more troubles we had, like a more serious trouble we had in the trial balance will be solved when we correct these errors that affect the agreement, errors that affect the balancing of trial balance. When we correct them, what serious issue will be solved? The issue of the suspense account. If you don't know, what should you do? Go back to the previous lesson. Go and watch the previous video. We discussed about the suspense account. All right. How what is the suspense account? How is it created, and why is it created? Now we are not going to do that here. When we correct these errors that affect the balancing of the trial balance, the matter which will be sorted out is the suspense account matter. It will be sorted out, it will be solved. Yeah, let's do it then. Reason or reasons for difference in the trial balance should be identified after recording the difference in the suspense account. The reason or reasons that created the suspense account, the reasons must be identified. Hari? Oh yeah. After recording the difference in the suspense account, we must find out the cause or the reasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one by one, which caused this difference, the difference which was recorded in the suspense account. Okay, right. Therefore, certain entries have to be made in the suspense account to correct the errors. We must make the specific, the relevant entries in the suspense account. If you don't understand these things when I read out and when I talk about suspense account, I urge you, I push you to go and watch the previous video. Otherwise, you will not understand. Okay, certain entries have to be made in the suspense account. Why the suspense account was created? Because there was a shortage in one column of the trial balance. There was a shortage in the trial balance. Okay, the shortage could be in the debit column, or it could be in the credit column. Okay, what we did was we identified the shortage and we put the shortage by our hand to the trial balance. That shortage was entered as the suspense account. Now we are going to identify the reasons which created that shortage. The reasons are the errors. What else? The reasons are the errors, of course. Okay. Then the suspense account will be eliminated from the books of accounts once all the errors are corrected. Yeah. Therefore, when such errors are corrected, one of the double entries of the correction should be entered in the suspense. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about this. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about this. I'm going to show you. Let us consider the errors. Let's consider the errors. Okay, We have one error here, the first one. Okay, omission of one entry from the books is the first. That is the first error. Now, don't you remember that we talked about this type of an error before, when we took errors which do not affect the trial balance? We got errors of omission errors. Yeah, we got omissions, and we corrected omissions, errors of omission. Don't you remember? No? You must remember. We corrected some errors, errors of omission. Yeah, that was in the previous video. But those errors, children, in those omissions, they were complete omissions. They were complete omissions. That means the entire transaction is neglected, right? The transactions completely is not recorded. So it doesn't make a difference in the trial balance. Obviously, if a transaction is not entered in the debit side and not entered in the credit side, that means it is completely not recorded. The trial balance is not affected. Of course, it's an error. We must enter every single transaction. But even though these omissions are there, the debit column total will be equal to the credit column total of the trial balance. Because there is no such thing to create a difference in the trial balance. Okay, do you get it? If the transaction is completely, not recorded, it's a different story. But here, this omission is not like that. This is a omission of one entry. So the debit entry is recorded and the credit entry is not recorded. Will that create a difference in the trial balance? The answer is, of course, that will create a difference in the trial balance. Of course. Why? Let's take this example and we'll find out why. Example. Error is given. One error is given. What is the error? Payment of telephone charges 15,000 has been recorded only in the cash. Wow. The bookkeeper must have been like in a hurry. He must have been in such a hurry. He has run home after recording one entry. Payment of telephone charges. Telephone bill ගෙවලා, right? They have paid the telephone bill. How much? 1,500? No, 15,000. 15,000. Okay? 15,000. That payment has been recorded only in the cash book. One entry is missing. So, what is the double entry first? Tell me the double entry first. To find out which entry is missing, you should know the double entry. Double entry. Payment of telephone bill by cash. Cash going out, cash decreasing. So, cash account, credit. Yeah, cash account credit. Which account is debited? Expense, the telephone bill account debited. So, this entry is okay, this entry is not there. You got it? This entry is recorded, cash book credited, telephone bill account not debited. It's not there. So the cash book credit side 15,000 will be there. That 15,000 is not recorded in the debit side. Critical mistakes, critical, yeah. Yeah. Let's take this as the cash book. Let's take this as the telephone charges, telephone bill account. So in the telephone bill account, in the cash book it's recorded. That means cash book credit side, this 15,000 is there. But in the telephone bill, telephone charges account, debit side, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. Which means the credit side will be 15,000 higher than the debit side. You get it? You get it, right? Because in the credit side, 15,000 is entered. That 15 is not entered in the debit side. It's not entered. So the credit side obviously will be 15,000 higher. Then the trial balance is affected. Trial balance will not balance. Trial balance credit side will be higher. Higher by 15,000. Got it? Okay. How to correct this? How to correct? Easy. You enter the amount in the account where it should be entered. The debit entry must be entered. Alright. Telephone bill account, debit, 15,000. Yeah? Oh yeah. But before I go on, I'm going to draw a trial balance here. A trial balance, a small one here. Okay, this is a trial balance, children. I can't do this with this owl. Shoo. I have to chase it off. Shoo. Go on. Alright, Mr. Owl. Thanks for the space. Yeah. Now I'm going to draw the trial balance. A small trial balance, a small one. Okay, like this. Debit and credit columns, description column. This is the trial balance. Trial balance. Debit and credit. Okay. Now, because of this error, children, 15,000 only entered in the cash book. In the cash book, it is entered in the credit side. So 15,000 is in the credit side. But in the telephone bill account, it's not recorded. In the telephone bill, it's not recorded. Telephone bill account, debit side, nothing's there. So when this trial balance is balanced, 15,000 is excess in the credit side. That 15,000 should be less in the debit side. Less, it should be less here. So what we normally do is we enter the less or the shortage to the debit side, to the side where we have the shortage. This 15,000 is the shortage. Shortage is in the debit side, right? So we enter that 15,000 as suspense. That's what we normally do. That's what we normally do, no? Huh? You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, I can see everybody's nodding. Okay, good. What is done here? The shortage is found, shortage is calculated, and the shortage is entered by our hand to the trial balance. And that shortage is named as suspense account. Suspense account, okay? Now children, we got the error out. Got it out. This is the error. Got it out. And we corrected it. Well, no, we still didn't correct. We'll correct it now. We enter the missing figure into the correct account. Telephone bill account, debit side 15,000. And it's correct now. Okay. But you know that when we correct errors, we must show the double entry in the general journal. You know that. Yes, you know that. Yes, you know that. Double entry. Where is the double entry? We have only one entry. We debited the telephone bill, debit side. We debited the telephone bill, 15,000. Telephone bill debit. Where is the credit entry? Where is it? You can't put it to the cash book. Cash book is already recorded. Credit side, it's already recorded here. That's right. That's right. This difference is entered in the suspense account. Now it is corrected. It is corrected. So when we enter this telephone bill story in the trial balance, we can enter like this: telephone bill. After we correct, we have 15,000 in the debit side of the telephone bill. So we enter that to the trial balance as the telephone bill 15,000. Yeah, okay. Now we need a double entry to complete our rectifying entry or the correction entry. When we correct this error, we need a double entry. Double entry is what? Telephone bill debit, suspense account credit. Suspense account credit, because children, this 15,000, when it was entered, this 15,000, when it was entered in the trial balance, after we enter it in the trial balance, we recorded that shortage in a suspense account. We must record that shortage in the in a suspense account. Same side as the shortage, where the shortage exists. Right. So the suspense account is created here, and the shortage is transferred to the suspense account. Likewise, 15,000. That's the initial part of creating the suspense account. The first step. When you enter the shortage in the suspense account, these entries are not, the correction is not yet done. Correction is not yet done. Alright, you got it? The correction is not yet done. When and where you enter the shortage to the trial balance, same time you must enter it to the suspense account. Now we have done it. After that, we got the error. Right? We got the error. What is the error? This one. This is the error. and we corrected it here. See, we corrected it. Telephone bill, 15,000 debit. After we correct it in our ledger accounts, we can enter the corrected account to the trial balance. So the telephone bill account is debited, and the double entry for that is suspense account must be credited, because in the suspense account the difference was recorded. Now it should be cancelled off. Suspense account should be credited 15,000. This is the double entry. 1, this is the first entry, and this is the second entry. Likewise, children, when you correct every single error which has affected the trial balance, every single error like these errors, every single error, when you correct these type of errors, every single error, in the double entry, you must have one entry in the suspense account. You must have one entry going to the suspense account when you correct these type of errors which affect the trial balance, because those errors have created the difference in the trial balance, and the difference is transferred to the suspense account, and when the difference is ruled off, the difference is corrected, this also must be ruled off. Got it? So not like before. Now these errors are not like before. Before, the errors which do not affect the trial balance, when we corrected those errors, there were no suspense account. But here, when we correct errors which affect the trial balance, there must be one entry in the suspense. Right? That is the key term, the key point of this example. Take it to your heads. Likewise. So children, that's what you should bear in mind. If one entry goes to the relevant account where there is an error, like this, where there is an error, if one entry goes here, the other entry must go to the suspense account. All right, let's take another example. Before that, I'm going to show you how this double entry, the rectifying double entry, is recorded in the general journal. There you go. Telephone charges account debit, first entry. Second entry, suspense account credit, 15,000. Just like this. Okay. First entry, second entry. Yep, it's correct. That's it. I'm going to take one more example just to make you like confident, just to make sure that you are confident. A similar example, right? Okay. So what is this error? Omission of one entry from the books. Omission of one entry from the books. From the double entry, one entry is omitted. Omitted means neglected or forgotten, not recorded. That is this. Right. You can go through the text. straight away I'm going to go to the next example. That is an example that I'm going to give you. Like it? Let's see. Right. This is your example. Example number 2. Okay. A check paid to a creditor. Check paid to a creditor. Rupees, let's say 70,000. Rupees 70,000 has been recorded only in the bank account. There you go. This is another error. Now tell me. Now you tell me. Will this error affect the trial balance? Of course. It will affect the trial balance. Of course. See, this is how it affects the trial balance. Now, every transaction should have a double entry in 2 accounts. That's what I'm going to show you about this transaction. Check paid to a creditor. Check paid means our cash going out. Cash going out means cash book credit. But here, not cash, a check. So bank book, credit. Credit is on this side, right? Yeah, okay. Let's take credit to this side. Credit, bank book credit. And creditor's account debit because liabilities decrease. We pay a creditor, we pay him, and we say, right, Mr. Annadurai, our debt, what we had to pay is settled now. So, no more liability to you. Right? So, Annadurai is a creditor. Creditor's account debit. Bank account credit. Creditor's account debit. Okay. Bank account, because our bank money goes down, decreases. Bank account credit. Creditor liability decreases when we pay them off. So creditor's account debit. But in this era, what has happened? It has been recorded only in the bank account. It has been recorded only in the bank account. So bank account is credited with 70, but Mr. Annadurai's account, Annadurai, that is the creditor. Okay, let's write creditor. Creditor's account is not debited. It's not debited. Has been recorded only in the bank account. Because of this, in the trial balance, there will be a shortage. Because of this, in the trial balance, there will be a shortage. Why am I drawing such a big trial balance? No need. In the trial balance, there will be a shortage. Where the shortage will be in the trial balance? Shortage will be in the debit side, or will it be in the credit side? I'm asking you about the shortage, children. Shortage will be in the debit side. Why? Credit side we have entered 70, but debit side we haven't entered the relevant account. We have missed. We have omitted. We have missed or omitted. That is an omission of one entry. So debit side 70,000 is not entered, right? But credit side it is entered. Then when the trial balance is balanced, what's going to happen? When the trial balance is balanced, what's going to happen? Debit side will be short. This side will be short. How much? This side, debit side, the 70,000 is missing now. So, the debit side will be short. This side will be short by 70,000. Short by 70,000. In the credit side, 70 is there, but in the debit side, no entry. So, 70 is short. What we do is, we put that shortage to an account called suspense account. Shortage is put to a suspense account. 70. So, this is the suspense amount which is going to the suspense account. And we draw the suspense account. We draw the suspense account. We draw the suspense account to record that. To record that shortage. 70 in the debit side. So 70 in the debit side. This shortage, children, this shortage goes here. Okay. This is the scenario that has occurred because of that error. Because of that error. Okay. You got it? But now we have to correct it. We have to correct it. To correct it, what would you do? What we must do? What would you do to correct it? Tell me. There is a shortage in the debit side because the debit account, the account which must be debited, it was not debited. So what you should do? You should debit that account. Debit. How much? 70. 70. Okay. First entry, first correction entry is creditors account debit 70. Now, it's done. First entry is done. This is the first entry. Creditors account debit 70. Where should the other entry go? Creditors account debit 70. Yeah. Because the difference was entered in the suspense account and the suspense account has the 70,000, it should be ruled off. So suspense account is credited at the second entry. There you go. First entry, second entry. Creditors account debit 70, suspense account credit 70. Alright. Drawing the general journal, I can show you by drawing the general journal. I can show you by drawing the general journal like this. The general journal should be drawn like this, and what should we do? Name it first. General journal. You name it first. Should be named first. Yeah. And should record the correction entry or the rectifying entry. Rectifying entry. That's what we call it. Rectifying entry. What is the rectifying entry? Creditors account. Debit, suspense account, credit. You write creditors account debit 70, then oops, okay, suspense account, credit 70. That's it. It's too complex. No, right? No. Write the narration. Write the narration. What should be the narration? Corrected the error of, you write corrected the error of, and you look at the error. What is the error? A check paid to creditor 70,000 not being recorded in the creditor's account. That's how you write. A check paid to creditor 70,000 being recorded only in the bank account. You can write like that. So we'll write, no problem, nothing to worry. We'll write the narration. Corrected the error of check paid to a creditor being recorded only in the cash, not the cash book, only in the bank account. Yeah. There you go, the narration. Children, this is how you correct errors which affect the trial balance. You must understand that the trial balance, when it is affected, children, you must understand, what you must understand is, when the trial balance is affected, that effect creates a shortage, and the shortage is transferred to a suspense account. So when you correct those errors which created the shortage, those errors must have one entry in the suspense account. That errors, when corrected, they must have one entry going to the suspense account. Got it? These are errors which do not affect the trial balance. Children, these are errors which affect the trial balance. See, these are errors which affect the trial balance. We corrected one error, and that was this: omission of one entry. Omission of one entry. And we did 2 examples and learned how to correct. So children, I'm going to see you with the other errors which affect the trial balance. There are 4 more in next chapters. Do your work, as I always say, but be happy. For the grade 11s, the exam is nearby. For the grade 10s, you have 1 year, but it's better to capture, to grab everything and to have everything in your heads, one by one, all the lessons. So keep on watching, and I'm going to see you again with the rest of the errors, and we are going to correct those errors. Thank you for watching. See you soon.